Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. We got a great show planned for you all. I hope you stay with us all the way to the end if you've never watched this show. We're the best sports betting information show on the planet, period, end of story. Lots of informative info coming your way. Today, Hakeem Profits is joining us. He's going to look at WNBA game, the Lynx versus the Dream. He's also going to take apart the Ravens versus Texans NFL game. Bryan Power on after him. He's going to look at SMU, whether they're going to win the AAC or not. And in baseball, he's going to look at the Padres against the red-hot Toronto Blue Jays. And Dave Sharapan will be on at the end of the show. We are going to have our betting strategy segment. We're going to talk about what the best ways to do a round-robin bet is. So that is the show. Skee Profit joining us right off the top. How are you, my friend? Nice to have you with us today. Yeah, I think I got this, man. I think I got this. I was just reading the set list for the final ever Dead & Co. Company Dead & Company show last night. Nothing you care about, but I was getting a little misty-eyed. The good news, Skee, is Teddy won't be asking you follow-up questions, and that has to be a positive experience. Anyway, let's get straight into it. The Lynx are playing the Dream tonight. You're amazing in WNBA, one of the best women's basketball bettors out there. How should we bet this game?
Well, first looking at the total, and I should have the lines, the current lines up, but they played earlier in the season. That game, the total was 161.5. I played the under. They did make it by about a basket. And now, a little bit later, 2 months later, the same two teams line up and the total has gone up by 9 points. It's over 170. So I get it. Atlanta is the fastest playing team in the league. But if you just look at how they've been playing a little bit lately, like I like to track last three games in WNBA because it tells me how each team is doing week by week. So last three games for the Dream, they went down from number one in pace to number four in pace. And in that same time span, they've been the number one defensive rated team. So if you play like that, that's going to get you away from those overs. They were a consistent over team. I think they hit like 7, 8 in a row, but they went under their last three games. And that's why when you look at the other side, Minnesota, they have been missing a lot of rim protection. And because of that, their defense has been suffering. You look at their last couple games they played, they gave up a franchise high 113 to Vegas. They lost the last game before the break by 40 points to the Wings. And, this is a team that was dead in the water to start the season. They were 0-6. They fought all the way back. They got to 500 and just looked really terrible in those last two games. I really trust their coach. Coach Reeve is really great at what she does, and she'll get her players up for it. And just looking at what she's saying as far as their last couple of games, she says, it's a function of our poor defense. And we've tried to share this with the team. We'll have to keep working. When we get back from the All-Star break, they should understand that's got to be our focus. We have to improve defensively. We know what we have to do, and we're asking them to do it. So when I hear her talking like that and just knowing the pedigree of coach that she is, I'm going to listen. I'm going to expect her team to get up defensively in this one and make a push towards the playoffs. And just an extra little sprinkle on that, if you look at Minnesota the last three games, they're playing at the second slowest pace in the league. So that makes me like the under even more. So we'll go Dream and Minnesota Lynx under the 170.5. And as far as the side is concerned, going into the break, the Dream won, I think, 6 in a row. But they were playing kind of bottom feeders. They were just beating up on the injured teams or the weak teams or however you want to call it. And Minnesota isn't the greatest, but they're a lot better than what they showed going into the break and a lot better than what their record is. So I already talked about what I expect from them. The Dream do not even have a winning record at home this season. They're 4-5. And now you're expecting them to win by multiple possessions. I just don't think that's a good bet. I think Minnesota's feisty. I think they can win outright. So this game, I like Minnesota plus the points, and I like the under.
Wow, nicely done. Skee Profit's joining us, everyone. Skee, before we get into NFL, how you been doing in baseball, WNBA? Have you made any NBA future bets? What's going on over there?
I'm gonna dive into the NBA futures bets, probably like in the next 2 weeks, and I'll have a list of those locked and loaded. How I've been doing in MLB has been kind of up and down. I haven't been as involved this season as previous seasons, just because I wanted to focus more on basketball because that's where I have majority of my success. I did do really well in MLB playoffs last year, and I'll get back to
Yep.
that. I was 23-11, but WNBA, I know the last 3 weeks I won 60% and up a little bit above 9 units in that span. So we'll try to keep that going.
Yeah, nicely done. Up 112 units of profit last year in the WNBA, right? Is that correct?
I'm up 112 units currently in 2023.
Oh, perfect. Well, that's unbelievably impressive. Congratulations. Welcome in, everybody. G-Mo, G Martinez, Better Half, Javier, Scott Fells. We love having you all in. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us in the chat room. If you guys have any questions from a betting strategy perspective, please put it in the comment section on the show. Once it goes live on YouTube, I go through them all. I got one yesterday. We're going to talk about it a little later. Skee, a lot of people are doing their NFL work already. I admit that I don't. I do really well in NFL every year, but I never start looking at the NFL until after week 1 in the preseason. You guys are deep into this stuff. You want to talk about Baltimore and Houston, and this is a big line already. Baltimore -9, a total of 44.5. And look, I mean, I know there's been a lot of changes here, but right off the bat, I mean, I would sit there and say a -9 for Baltimore. They don't deserve that yet. And then I look at the under in that game, and I kind of lean towards that as well. Look, I know Baltimore's got a lot of hype coming in. Lamar Jackson is back. They're trying to load up on their wide receiver core, but with all that said, I'm so curious where you're going. There is no chance I would lay 9 points with Baltimore in this game. What are you going to do?
Well, first I just want to say, Prez, I'm pretty honest and straightforward, and the reason we're talking about NFL, even though it's months away, is because I only like to talk about games that I bet, and this is the game that I did bet. So I disagree with you a little bit here, Prez. I
That's
like the
okay.
Ravens minus the 9.5 points, and my reason is just a very simple reason. We know year after year, right? The Ravens dominate the preseason. Why? Because they're the only team that takes it seriously.
Yep.
What does that do? It has them ready every single year. They're the most prepared team going into the season for week 1. So I dug in the database. I took a page out of Ralph's book, and I looked at under Coach Harbaugh, the Ravens, and this is since 2008, since he's been coaching. When they're a home favorite, and just anything more than -1. I don't want those pick 'em type games. As long as they're a decent home favorite under Harbaugh, they're 6-0 straight up and against the spread in week 1. The average line was -6.9. They won by 25.8 points per game. And in this year in week 1, no distractions. Even last year, I bet this last year they were on the road and they covered versus the Jets. I
Yeah,
think the line was 5.5.
24-9.
Yeah, it was 5.5 when I bet it. By the time it kicked off, it was 7.5. Um, this is a Houston team who they're already not good. You look at them in week 1 on the road, especially they're 1-5 the last 20 seasons. But they have a new quarterback, a new coach. I just think it's a lot for them to get used to start the season, especially versus a team like the Ravens, who's already going to be prepared because they take the preseason so serious. So I think they start off the season 1-0 in blowout fashion. I'll lay the 9.5 points. I think they win this one by double digits.
Skee, listen, it makes a lot of sense from what you just said. They are gold when you bet them in preseason. And last year on the road against the New York Jets, they won 24-9, were able to cover that. I mean, for me, it's just a situation really where I don't think their defense is as good as it was last year. I don't actually think their defense is an elite defense anymore. And it's one of those games where Lamar is so inconsistent. I mean, one week he goes out there and he looks like Joe Montana, Tom Brady. Okay, well, let's talk in his style. Randall Cunningham, Dante Culpepper, or whatever you want to say. And then the next week, he's Trent Dilfer. And that's what keeps me from betting on Baltimore. I don't actually think I bet I have bet on the Ravens in years. And it's for that reason, because I can't count on the consistency of that team. I never know which Ravens team is going to show up. Yeah, they're going to win a lot of games. Sure. Are they going to cover a lot of point spreads? Maybe some small ones. But man, to expect them to cover 9 points against a team that I think is going to slow the game down to an absolute crawl, it worries me. But everything you're saying makes sense. So nicely done on that.
One last comment, Press, based on what you said.
What?
I think, and I'm gonna look it up and verify, and I'll shoot a message in the group chat that we have afterwards. But I'm pretty sure over the years, the way you bet the Ravens, like when they play these bottom feeder type teams, they blow them out. When they play the teams that are like in the mid or like the better teams, they don't cover. So that's how I view the Ravens. That's kind of how I've bet them over the years.
Greg Macaluso in our chat room, he placed Ravens -9 weeks ago. He also mentioned that Teddy agrees with that pick. M. Tsao says he'll take it all the way to 9.5. So lots of people agree with you. I wish you nothing but the best. I know you have made that bet already. What do you have going for the clients today?
I am $2 Tuesday. Like I said, I won 60% of my WNBA bets the last 3 weeks, and we look to keep that going here today. Up 112 units in profit, and it's a play that I like quite a bit. So if you would like to be involved, it's only $2 tonight.
Yeah, guys, Skee, thanks for joining us. Guys, if you've never purchased from WagerTalk Today, listen, we're the largest handicapping company in the world for a reason. We have the most incredible talent. All our guys are absolutely sensational. I mean, when you look at guys like Tokyo Brandon in Korean baseball or any of the Asian baseballs, you look at Carmen, soccer and hockey, and Skee and WNBA and on and on. It's just, honest to God, it's the best handicapping team ever assembled in history. And on Tuesdays, we have $2 Tuesday. You can buy our featured handicapper for only $2. That's less than a really crappy coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. So head over to the site. Take a chance on Skee's WNBA. The guy is a betting god in that sport. Bryan Power. How are you, dude? What's going on with the Power Man?
Well, Prez, by the way, did you see Dead & Company's rendition of Althea from, I believe, the Giants Park? John Mayer was on fire, buddy. You got to check. I might have to send you the clip if you haven't seen it.
Send it. And Vivian, my woman, loves Althea. It's her favorite song. I'm emotional, dude. It looks like Dead & Company is over, and that... I mean, last night, and I'm not even lying with you. Okay, we were on edibles, but we put on some Dead & Co. from the night before, and Vivian started to cry, so we had to turn it off because.
Wow, very emotional night at the Prez household, huh? Wow, just a lot of tears, man.
Yeah, dude. And then I didn't get to sleep last night. Brian, I got 1.5 episodes left of the show, The Offer. I need it to end. It is killing my nights. I was watching till 3:15 in the morning. I cannot turn that show off. I don't know if you've ever watched it. I've mentioned it twice already on WagerTalk Today. I haven't seen a show this good in a long, long time. The Offer, it's on Paramount Plus. You can get it through Amazon Prime. It is the story of the making of The Godfather. And also the start of Al Pacino's career. It's so spectacular. I can't believe it. So what do we got going in the chat room? Greg loved Althea. Natural 8, no need for a co-host. Prez is way better solo. He has to take the show seriously because it's all on him. You're a good solo, Prez. Natural 8, I love doing the show solo. And I'd like to apologize to Bryan Power, who co-hosted last week with me. You're not needed anymore, bro.
Oh, wow. I thought I did a good job. I gave myself a 3 for 3 on last week's performance. By the way, I rewatched the videotape, and I was outstanding.
Yeah, you were incredible. Andrew wants to know if I've watched The Bear. No. Have you watched The Bear? Do you know what The Bear is?
No. Cocaine Bear? Is that what we're talking about? Or is there just the Bear?
No, it just says the Bear. I remember BJ and the Bear, but now I'm totally
You're dating yourself.
Dan.
Yeah.
Dan Newber, Dan the man, our producer, says the Bear is incredible and it's about chefs in Chicago and it's compelling.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Where can I watch it, Dan? Hulu. Hulu. I got to pay for another streaming service? Can somebody, Netflix, Amazon, just Netflix or Amazon or Apple, can you please consolidate this industry? Please. Yeah. I understand the need. What, Brian?
I was gonna say, remember when streaming services were supposed to be this way to save you money on the incredible price of cable? You're like, oh my God, they're charging arm and leg for cable. I'm just gonna go with this streaming service. Now, I think, I haven't looked at my bill in a while, but I'm sure we're paying more in streaming services than we used to in cable.
Oh yeah. It's absolutely out of control. Andrew wants to know what Althea you're talking about. The Citi Field, right?
Yeah, no, I think it was I think it was at the Giants Stadium, or what is it, Oracle Park? I should know it. Being
the Giants, right? Yes, Oracle Park.
The Giants. Who knows? Maybe I'll tweet it out. Maybe I'll retweet it.
I don't know if you know this, but Althea is what started Dead & Co. John Mayer never heard of the Grateful Dead ever in his life. He was swimming in his pool. He was listening to Pandora, and a song came on that he never heard. That song was Althea. He jumped out of the pool, played it 10 times in a row, went to his room, mastered it within 4 hours, and that was the start of his incredible journey. Okay, SMU. You want to talk about them? Let's go.
Those transitions are why you're the best, Prez. Yes, let's talk about SMU.
You're so sweet.
Yes. All right, I'm going to preface this by saying I see the AAC as a 4-team race this year. You got Tulane, the reigning champs. Remember what they did last January, beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. That was a big win for me and my clients, but they're primed to regress. The Green Wave. That's a team that jumped from 2 to 12 wins. Typically, you see a jump like that year over year. You're going to see some regression year plus one. Memphis is a team I think is going to be in the mix, Prez. I really like over on their season win total. UTSA is a team that's going to be in the mix, but I think they could struggle because they're one of the teams making a jump from Conference USA here to the AAC, a better conference. And then the fourth team, of course, the one I'm here to talk about today is the SMU Mustangs. Also have to note the AAC has eschewed divisions this year, in case you didn't know that. It's just going to be the top 2 finishers in the conference title game. And, of course, we've seen some of the long-term stalwarts in this conference depart. Cincinnati's in the Big 12. UCF is in the Big 12. Houston's in the Big 12 now. You've got the 6 new teams, UTSA being one of them. The others are FAU, North Texas, UAB, Rice, and Charlotte. They come over from Conference USA. Makes it a bigger league, Prez. We've got 14 teams, but I'm not necessarily confident it's a stronger league. In fact, I think it's a weaker one. And the holdovers, I think it's going to benefit by getting to play some of these weaker teams from Conference USA, which opens the door for a team like SMU. They do go to the Liberty Bowl late in the year to face that Memphis team I mentioned. But the other top 2 teams, UTSA and Tulane, they do not play them in the regular season. I look at this conference schedule, Prez, for the Mustangs. I think other than Memphis, they're going to be favored in every single game. Now, in the non-conference, they do have to go to Oklahoma. They do have to go to TCU, but those aren't conference games, so we don't have to worry about that. This is a conference wager I'm about to give out. We're talking Rhett Lashley's second year in the Metroplex. He replaced Sonny Dykes, who obviously is not regretting his decision to go to TCU, given what happened last year. But Lashley's got 16 starters back. They do lose Tanner Mordecai, the quarterback to Wisconsin, via the transfer portal. But those around this program, very high on his replacement, sophomore Preston Stone. A couple of years ago, folks, he was the highest ranked recruit in program history. He got 1 start last year. What did he do on his first pass, Prez? Threw a 75-yard touchdown. Unfortunately, he broke his collarbone later in the game and was out for the year. But there's some pedigree there. I think this offense can absolutely match last year's numbers with Stone under center. And the defense is going to be better. All we have to do, because it's top 2 finishers, is get to that conference title game. You can always hedge if you like the opponent. But I think SMU, guys, is an outstanding value. to win the AAC in 2023. Look at the odds right there on the screen, plus 360. Great bet. I would recommend getting down on that now before the odds come down.
There you go. Bryan Power likes SMU to win their conference. Lot of value there. So nice pick. Bri, let's turn our attention to the Padres and the Blue Jays. And listen, I have been telling everybody for 2 weeks straight, bet the Blue Jays, bet the Blue Jays, bet the Blue Jays. This team underperformed at a high level in the first half of the season. I look at this batting lineup, Brian, and I see the best batting lineup in all of baseball. I also see a team with, a decent pitching rotation and a pitching rotation that could be even better than decent. Alex Manoah on the mound tonight. We've all seen and heard his troubles this season, but he came back from single A or wherever he was and pitched a gem. This guy has got a lot. He's an emotionally driven pitcher, and I expect him to rebound and continue from his last start. Padres as well, one of probably the single most disappointing team, them and the Mets, in all of baseball. But it doesn't seem like the Padres are able to turn their season around. They can't seem to put a run down. They can't seem to get back into this. And as the season progresses, I think their body language and emotional makeup is going to get worse and worse and worse. I looked at this game tonight, and I really want to take the Blue Jays. I'm concerned because I don't want to. They're on a run, and I hate, jumping in midway through. But I can't see any other way to bet this. Where are you going?
Well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you, Prez. I agree with you big picture on the Blue Jays, that they are a team. We talked about it last week on the program, as a matter of fact, that they were a team to watch, and they could fight their way into the wild card. I think everyone would agree the third place finisher in the AL East is going to get a wild card. But you mentioned Manoah and the return he had in the rotation right before the All-Star break. That was against the Tigers, who are a pretty weak hitting lineup. He did look decent, allowed just 1 run and 5 hits over 6 innings. Blue Jays win that one 12-2. But I am not convinced that what we saw there is a sign that we're going to see any kind of return to the 2022 form from Manoah. 5.91 ERA, 1.80 whip at the big league level this season. He has not won a single decision at home this year, Prez. At home, ERA 8.68, whip 2.36. And you talk about when he was demoted, it was all the way down in the rookie league. He gave up 11 runs in 2 2/3 innings. So that was not a good sign. It caught me a little bit by surprise how good he looked against the Tigers. But again, the Tigers are one of the weaker hitting lineups in the game. And San Diego is a team, Prez, you and I also mentioned when we got a question, the BS segment about Pythagorean wins, right? This is one of the biggest underachievers. They have the 4th best run differential in the National League, yet are 7 games under 500. Just a comedy of errors over the weekend. They win the first game at Philadelphia. Blake Snell gives them a great start in the second one. The bullpen blows it. It was a day-night doubleheader on Saturday, and the Padres just fell apart the rest of the weekend, losing every game the rest of the series. Sunday's loss to the Phillies dropped, and this is why there's such a difference between actual and expected wins for the Padres. Incredibly, they are now 5-16 in one-run games, 0-9 in extras this season. So they're not winning the close ones, and that's why they're in the position they're in. But I mentioned that run differential. They still outscored teams by 36 runs this year. And I think they've got a clear edge in starting pitching with Musgrove against Manoah. Joe Musgrove starting tonight for the road team here. Over his last 9 starts, 7-0, 1.79 ERA. He's allowed 1 or 0 earned runs 6 times during that stretch. 3 earned run less, all 9 starts, 8 of which have seen him go at least 6 innings. The Padres need wins, Prez. They're 8 games back of the wild card. I think this is kind of, you don't want to be too hyperbolic and say it's a do or die series, but they need wins. I should point out, the line has moved substantially since I put this out this morning. I got this at -111. They're now north of -130, San Diego. If you're listening to this, you like what you hear, you saw on the screen earlier, I'm number one in all MLB since last year's playoffs, and you still want to find a way to get down on the Padres, I would say lay the half run in the first 5 because San Diego's not winning this game unless if they get to Manoah. So that's an alternate way to play this. But I am on San Diego for the full game here, Prez. I think they break that win streak. And Toronto, perhaps, maybe feeling itself a little too much off that sweep of Arizona over the weekend.
Look, Brian, everything you're saying makes sense. Firstly, I love the concept of betting the Padres in the first half because if they win this game, they have to get to Manoa. The Jays bullpen, although not world class, is pretty good. Here's what worries me. The Jays, one of the people in the chat room, let me see his name. G Mode writes, the Blue Jays are a Jekyll and Hyde team. Not so much. This is a team that has won 4 games in a row. They've won 8 of their last 9. That's not a Jekyll and Hyde team. It's a 162 game baseball season. Every team is. Tampa Bay a Jekyll and Hyde team. They won 1 million games to start the season, and now they're only 6 up or whatnot in the East. So it's the length of the season that basically dictates roller coasters, streaks, etc. I don't think the Jays are that. And I look at this and I think to myself, man, the Blue Jays at plus 115. This is a team that just hits anybody. And I understand that Musgrove is really good. 8-2 win-loss record, 3.29 ERA, whip of 1.15. I get it. But man, this Blue Jay team offensively is a beast. And if I'm going to be able to get them as a dog, it's, everything you said is keeping me off of playing the Blue Jays, but none of it is putting me on playing the Padres. Brian, what do you got to promote?
Well, we've got We've got 2 plays up right now. You can get them both for $29. I'm going to be adding more. Maybe 2 more plays even. So it could be a busy day. Last 2 days, Prez, a little frustrating. I feel I should have gone 2-0 each of those days. First play wins easily. And then the second play, I've got a lead or am tied going into the bottom of the 9th, and I lose in the final at bat. So that was a tough break. So we had to settle for splits both Sunday and Monday. That was after going 3-1 on Saturday. But we're loading up today. We actually have 3 plays because the Reds-Giants game I had to play last night, that game was suspended. It's still outstanding because they're going to make it up right away. So I've got technically 3 plays live right now, but we're going to be adding more as soon as I'm done here on the airwaves. So check that out at my page. We're looking to add to those 51.8 units you see right there on the screen. Number 1 in MLB since last October. Very proud of that. So head on over to my page right now, Bryan Power, WagerTalk.com.
Oh, we love having you, Bryan Power, everybody. Okay, so we got G-Mode writes, well, it's okay to disagree, Prez, but you're wrong. G-Mode, yeah. Baby, I'm wrong lots. This is sports betting. I wish I was right all the time. I just want to be right slightly more than I'm wrong. That's all. Robert S., you sound like a fan trying to convince yourself to bet the Jays. Not at all. I'm not betting the Jays. Everything Bryan Power said makes sense to me. It's why I'm staying off of this game. But where is the love, Robert and G-Mode? Where is the love for the fact that I've told you for the last 3 weeks to bet the Blue Jays? They've won 8 and 9. Okay, it's time for the betting strategy segment of the show. Dan, put it up. So Jeremy D writes, what is the best way to do a round robin bet? And, look, here, let me bottom line this. There's no good way to do a round robin bet, period, end of story. Parlays are sucker bets. Dave Sharapan's coming on in a few minutes, and we can talk about that. The hold on parlays is astronomical. The amount of money that the sportsbooks make with you guys betting parlays, it's their bread and butter. It is what pays the lights to stay on. So right off the bat, I want to tell you that a parlay is a terrible bet. A round robin is a whole lot of terrible bets. However, I recognize that none of you guys are going to listen to me. Most of you guys are going to continue trying to get your hands on money quick. The only way to do that is with these parlays and round robins. So what is the most effective round robin out there? Simple. 4 teams, 3 team parlays. That's it. 4 teams, 3 team parlay round robin. Don't put the 2 in there and don't put the 4 in there. Just the 3. And I'll tell you why. When you put a 2 team parlay in, there are 4 possible outcomes: A and B, A and A, B and B, B and A. That's 4 to 1. Four possible scenarios. You're getting paid 2.6 to 1 on a 4 to 1 bet. That's assuming everything's at minus 110. When you bet a 3 team parlay, the scenarios are 8. You should be getting paid 8 to 1 in a true odds environment. You're getting paid 6 to 1. Still not a great bet. However, it is the closest to true odds. A 3 team parlay is the closest parlay to true odds out of any parlay you can do. So what is the best way to do a round robin? Pick 4 teams and put them into a round robin of 3 team parlays. Again, no 2-teamers, no 4-teamers. If you have to do round robins, 3 team parlays inside of a 4-team round robin. Dave Sharapan, anything to add to that?
Walked into this. What are you talking about? Round robin parlays. I like the new office look. This looks great. Where's Theodore? What's happening right now? Where's everybody else?
Who's Theodore and what's in everybody?
Are you flying solo today?
Yeah, baby. Dave, one of our listeners asked, what is the best way to do a round robin bet? My answer was only 3 team parlays. So take 4 teams, do a 3 team parlay. So I think that equals 4 individual bets. Don't
Point
do the
spreads or money
two-teamer.
lines?
I'm assuming minus 110, bro. I'm just assuming minus 110 for argument's sake.
Okay.
The reason, and I mentioned this, the reason is 3 team parlays is the closest to true odds. It should be 8 and 1. You get paid 6 to 1. As a guy who doesn't like to give the sports books an edge, I don't do any parlays. However, if I'm going to do any, I'm only going to do 3 teamers. Do you have anything to add to that conversation?
No, everybody does whatever they're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's fine. I know guys that love to do if you have 3 items, they round robin by 2s and 3s. If you have more than 3 items, then you can also do some guys like to do them by 4s. And again, depending on the system, sometimes the 4s pay better than true odds than the 3s, but that's a loophole in the system that not a lot of people may or may not know about. So yes, you can do whatever you'd like. You can tell people till you're blue in the face that parlays are not a good bet, and they don't listen. They don't listen.
Dave, ELB on your hat.
Yes.
Have we spoken about this before? What do you think the logo for the Montreal Expos means?
That's for the guy's wife. You told me that, right? You told me the story.
Daughter.
The daughter.
Eleanor Leor Bronfman. Isn't that amazing?
You were the first person to tell me that. You've been the first person to tell me a lot of things, but you were the first person to tell me that. And I didn't even fact check you. Came with it so quick. I was sold. It was done. It was good. Yeah.
We love having you on, Dave. Let's talk British Open. It starts this week in golf. Have you heard or seen any bets that we should be aware of for this golf tournament starting Thursday?
It's crazy because, first of all, I love when you say golf. It's golf that you just drop the L, and it's you, and it's perfect. The Open Championship, which used to be the British Open, is now the last major, and that's a different type of. I call it iambic pentameter for the kids. You got to Google that one. You'll figure out that's the pattern, the rhythm. Anyhow, it's a little bit early. A lot of people are on vacation this week in the space. A lot of people have kind of said, you know what, we're going to wait and get ready for football starting soon. We're going to get out of town. I haven't heard a damn thing about this thing other than it's very wide open. The mid-tier range guys from about 20 to 40 to 1, almost any one of them can win. I got some guys I do a couple shows with them, and they're taking shots on 125, 150 to 1. I'll
Yeah.
know more about the golf after today and tomorrow. We'll get some more, but bets got to be in by Wednesday night, at least out west, because it starts late Wednesday night. Tee times early, Thursday across the pond. So you got to get the bets in earlier than usual this week.
Have you heard any good future bets in college football or NFL?
Dear Lord, we're going over this stuff, and a lot of people just are really just kind of putting USC in this thing. They're going to be one of the playoff teams, and Caleb's going to win the Heisman. It's a done deal. I don't even know why we're discussing it prior to the season, let alone what's going to happen. USC is just going to walk through their schedule. They're going to get in the Pac-12 championship, come to Vegas, win that, get in the playoff. So a lot of people are legitimately betting them just not to get there, but actually think they can win it all. Who's going to win in the SEC? A lot of guys in the know that I like to say are on LSU. Season wins over, and to win their division in the SEC, and to win it all. Again, I'd let them do that. I'm not a big fan of Brian Kelly, but it doesn't matter what I'm a fan of. I'm just listening and watching the bets. That's it for now, Prez. That's the big stuff. I mean, we're going to get into we're talking to Phil Steele today on our show, Bostonian versus the Book. I'm going to ask him about the mid-major conferences and about a team. Give me a team that you're writing about or being asked to talk about that nobody would have thought you were 2 weeks ago before you started the media tour. So that's what I'm going to ask him today.
Dave Sharapan joining us, everyone. We absolutely love having you on, Dave. Every Tuesday, you can hear him here on WagerTalk Today, and it's a pleasure. So, Dave, there's lots going on in the world of sports betting right now. I understand the main big sports in America are not, but you've got women's basketball, you got the World Cup of women's soccer starting up. You got something to say about that?
No, I've heard there's a lot of people are talking about this. Carmine's texting me about this. Am I paying attention to this? I got to be honest, I'm not, Prez, but I don't want any drama on a Tuesday. So continue on with what you were saying, please.
Yeah, so, you got women's basketball, obviously F1. You've got NASCAR in full swing, Indy in full swing, horse racing going on. I mean, there's a lot. The UFC is up. We got golf this weekend. Tennis just came out of Wimbledon.
Yeah.
What is Dave Sharapan betting on a daily basis in the middle of July?
Baseball in game. That's it. I'm really just looking at the baseball. And I got to tell you, I'm completely caught up in the Ohtani chase. What he's doing and him hitting a home run as a daily ATM. I don't know how low the books could make it. I was discussing it last night after he hit another home run. And with a guy that's in a book, and I'm like, what are you going to make the number? Because last year when Judge was, setting the record and chasing this, got as low as plus 170 to hit a home run in a Major League Baseball game, which is absurd. But when the guy does it night after night and people bet it night after night, you gotta pay attention to it. So that's what I'm fascinated with both Central Divisions too in baseball, with moving the number and who's going to win those divisions and trying to get futures. A couple books I know back east, I haven't seen it yet out here, have put out the World Series, just name the matchup and World Series exactas. And as soon as those become a little more spread out a little bit, I'll probably start buying some different choices there, trying to nail which teams are going to make the playoffs. The bottom tier teams. We know the Braves are in. We know the Dodgers are in. I'm trying to figure out who's going to win the Central.
Right.
Who's going to be the wild cards. Because you can get prices on that stuff that you just won't be able to get come September. So that's all I'm looking at, literally. I'm not looking at – do you play pickleball? Someone asked me if I want to start playing pickleball.
I play pickleball. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Are you serious?
You will have a blast playing pickleball. And thank you for asking, because my woman Vivian has set up a website. I'd love for you guys to take a look at it. It's called The Pickleball Addict. ThePickleballaddict.com. Take a look at it. Like guys who love the Grateful Dead, like me, Andrew, and Greg, there's a pickleball shirt on that website, Grateful Dink, and it's got all the bears coming across. Gotta go look at that website. It's really, there's some amazing pickleball merchandise up on that site.
Give me the website name again. I got to write this down.
The
The
pickleballaddict.com. The pickleballaddict.com.
ADDICT.
Yeah, take a look at it, man. There's some incredible stuff. And Dave, you really need to play. It is, listen, it's just, were you ever a tennis player?
Yes, I love tennis. I love tennis.
Were you a baseliner or a volleyer?
Well, I like to play on the baseline, but sometimes when you needed to cut points short, you charge the net. I mean,
but where
that's
did
what
you have
everybody
more
did
fun?
when we were younger. Charge the
Where
net.
did you have where was the fun?
The fun in it was competing. You play hockey too.
No, but the fun is at the net, the diving around,
Always.
the quick
reflexes.
reflexes.
The fun is at the net. Oh, it's no question. Good question.
That's pickleball. That's pickleball from start to finish.
Do you move your feet much?
Oh yeah, dude, I played 5 pickleball games on Sunday. I sweated my ass off.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
So,
I'm gonna so I should take this guy up on it. You play singles or
100%.
doubles?
Well, 90% of pickleball is doubles. 90%. So you're going to end up playing doubles, and it's very social.
Okay,
it's wonderful, Dave. Before we end the show, you mentioned that right now you're doing what, 90%, whatever. You're doing in-game baseball betting. That's what's going on in the Sharapan household on a daily basis.
Yes.
Give us some secrets. What are you looking for? Is there a method to this? Is there a strategy? Are you looking for, a favorite to be down 2-0 in the first? Then you come, especially the top of the first, then you come back with them. What strategy are you using from a macro perspective?
Oh, there's a bunch of different things. I mean, when you watch a game, I went to the NBA Summer League. All right. Okay. So this is an example. And we're sitting there and we're watching the game, me and I took my daughter and her friends, and you could see right away that they were going to shoot threes nonstop. Make or miss. They were going to continue. No one was shooting the ball within 10 to 15 feet of the basket. So I'm watching in the first quarter, they're missing. One guy went 1 for 10 and he kept shooting. So they dropped the total like 20 points off the close. Yeah. And I said to my daughter, I said, do you think anybody's going to shoot it close to the basket, or do you really think they're going to keep shooting threes? She's like, I think they're going to keep shooting threes. I thought the same thing. I bet over. So in a baseball game on a nightly basis, you can see the pitcher in the first inning or two. If a game closes 8 and the game is 0-0 after 1, a lot of times the book moves at a whole run after an inning. Sometimes they get, and then they labor in the second and they don't give up a run. They drop it another half a run or another run. So you go from 8.5 to 7.5 to 6.5. 7 is the number. 7 is the number in baseball. I'm always looking to get over or if over 7 or under 9.5. Give me 2 odd numbers, 7 and 9. Those are the odd numbers. Those are the games 5-4, 4-3. Those combos work best. So I'm just looking at totals most of the time. Sometimes you get a gift. Team gets a big first run, first inning, the visitor, go up 2-0. 3-0, and a $2 favorite will go to plus 1.5 on a run.
Yeah.
I love taking those too, because they haven't hit yet. How can they go from closing a $2 favorite to plus a 1.5 even money or minus 110? Different stuff like that, and then we play it. The bullpens are a nightmare right now, Prez. You got to be very careful in the later innings, because if you don't know who these guys are, you're betting on different things, and the bullpens are a mess mostly across baseball right now.
Yeah, Dave, I want to speak to you quickly about that. Before we get into that, guys, 232 of you watching live, please take a minute to hit that like button. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't. It would be greatly appreciated. And let everybody in your life who you think might benefit from these shows know about WagerTalk TV. So, Dave, what I'm hearing from you is you're really... And this is my strategy overall, especially in football and basketball, is just try to bet against the closing lines. So if you have a situation where a team is -7 in NFL, they kick off and the other team goes down and scores a touchdown, I'm all over that favorite. That favorite is now -2.5 or something like that. They haven't even got the ball yet. So you're betting, you're really betting against the opening line, right? Is that, if it comes out at 9 and it's 0-0 after the first and they put a 7.5 on the board, you're taking the over. Is that a
You
fair?
have to. Well, I mean, you have to know what the closing line is and then act accordingly. Some people get very excited about getting a better number than the original number, but if the original number stinks, then you don't have to play it. That's the beauty of the in-play betting, right? You can wait. Now, you may never get the number you want, which means a pass.
So what?
Like,
Yeah.
exactly, right? So you can take a pass. It's just like, you play poker, you fold a hand. There's another hand. There's always another game. But sometimes the closing line, yesterday in the summer league at Houston +3. The game closed Houston -1.5. They lost by 23. It doesn't matter sometimes if you get the best.
Of Dave, who's winning every bet? But I do want to make one important comment to everybody who does in-game betting, and that is don't chase. In other words,
sure.
The most common mistake you will make out there is, and again, let's use, NFL as an example, a Baltimore -9 against Houston. Baltimore comes out, puts up a 7 spot. Now they're -12. That's not a bet, guys. Then they score again. They're up 14-0. Now it's -18.5. That is not a bet. Don't keep playing. Don't keep assuming that, they're up 14-0. They're going to win 48-3. It more often than not, it all comes back to the original line. Trust me on that. Don't chase when making in-game bets, Dave.
Basketball for sure, Prez. Like the basketball volatility is incredible. And, in the baseball, it's happening. I did it the other night. Last week, the Braves were playing the Guardians. The Braves were down. They closed -170, something like that. I got them +170 in game. And then Cleveland, the Braves took the lead in the fifth. And so they went to being a $2, $3 favorite. They got up 2 runs and they got to be a $5 favorite. So I took Cleveland +350 just in case. In case. Well, they got a run. I bet Cleveland again. I was just betting both sides. And I mean, again, that's not for everybody, but there's a million different ways to do this. I just think you definitely got to tell people don't chase in-game. The in-game chase can be terrible for everybody. You don't want to do that.
Dave Sharapan, everyone. Dave, what do you got to promote?
So we're doing Bostonian versus the book every day, Monday through Friday. We're on, we usually start at 11 o'clock Pacific. Today we're starting at 10 o'clock Pacific, a.m. And then it replays every night on Sports Grid and every day on Sports Grid at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. I'm on with Gabe and Cam, and then I'm on with a very other hosts. MLB Network, we're doing twice this week, Bettor's Eye. And cash considerations has started back up. We're doing that. And then we got this proxy service on the side, too. We'll worry about that later. I don't want to do that here. That's not appropriate, but we'll talk about that as well. If you guys are coming to Vegas for contests, we got some people along with Kelly and them that everybody has someone to sign up with. So a lot of things going on this summer, Prez. I can't wait to see you. Did you come for the poker or no?
Yeah, I came for the World Series. I did really, really well. I was there for 7 days, Dave. 6 days, Dave. I went dark, dude. Like Teddy didn't see me. Like I played poker. It's no offense. Anyway,
all right, you're out.
We love you, brother. Get out of here.
See you soon,
guys. Great show today. On tomorrow's show, we have Adam Trigger and Tony Finn joining us. Also, Nick Borman will be on the show tomorrow, and he will take apart the British Open, so make sure to stay with us. I want to shout out Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith is a friend of mine. He's in my WhatsApp poker group, and he won his first bracelet on Sunday night at the WSOP. I am unbelievably jealous. I just look, if someone's going to win a bracelet, let it be someone I know. Congratulations, Bradley. I can't wait for you to get back to Toronto. I want to see that bracelet. I want to put it on. I want to get ready for mine when it eventually comes in the next few years. So way to go, Brad. Thanks, everybody. Dave, Sharapan, Skee Profit, and Bryan Power. That's it for the show. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern.